Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive all about stacks.
STX.
Yeah, STX.
That's right.
Today we're going to be looking at a bunch of different things, kind of a stack of information, if you will. So
Nice.
we're going to be looking at the technical analysis, on-chain metrics, and then some recent news that broke that is, I think, points to a lot of excitement building around stacks.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential brewing in this ecosystem, that's for sure. And what's really interesting to me is that when we look at STX, we're not just, riding the hype wave here.
Yeah.
We're actually anchoring this analysis in some solid data,
Right.
which I think is really, especially in the world of crypto where things can change so quickly, having that strong foundation in data is absolutely
Oh,
crucial.
absolutely. Data is king.
Yeah.
So let's start off, let's kind of break it down and look at the technical side of things.
Okay.
And when we look at the charts, we can see some pretty clear resistance and support levels.
Right.
And specifically, we're seeing resistance at $2.29,
Right.
$2.70, and $3.08. And then on the support side,
Uh,
194, $1.66, and $1.39.
So think of these levels like guideposts for the price action. Resistance levels are where the price might sort of hit a wall,
Right.
struggle to break through, whereas those support levels are those areas where the price tends to find its footing, kind of bounce back up.
Okay.
And here's what's really interesting, especially for the listener.
Yeah.
STX is currently trading above that $2.29 resistance level. It's sitting right around $2.30.
Okay, so that's a good sign.
That's a bullish signal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hinting that we could see further upward movement from here.
So what you're saying is if STX closes above $2.29, we could see it head up to $2.70.
Exactly. And there's another interesting detail here.
Okay.
There's a key Fibonacci level at $2.49, about 61.8%. It's right in that range between $2.29 and $2.70.
Okay, now hold on. For those of us who aren't, expert traders,
Sure.
can you break down what a Fibonacci level is and why it matters?
Absolutely. So imagine Fibonacci levels like a roadmap that traders use to try to predict where the price might go.
Okay.
These levels, they're derived from a mathematical sequence.
Right.
And they often indicate areas where we might see significant buying or selling pressure.
Gotcha.
So if STX hits that $2.49 level, it could be a sign
Yeah.
if there's strong buying interest, which could push the price even higher.
So it's like a potential launching pad for STX.
Yeah, think of it that way.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Now, if we zoom out a little bit,
Yeah.
is there anything else kind of on the horizon that we should be looking at that could also impact the price?
If we look a little further down the road, there's a really exciting, potentially exciting midterm target, and that's at $3.08.
Okay.
And that aligns with the 78.6% Fibonacci level.
Okay.
So hitting that level could mean a pretty significant jump in value for STX.
All right, so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the market metrics, because I think these numbers also seem to be painting a pretty positive story.
Yeah, they are.
When we look at the market cap, we're seeing $3.45 billion. The 24-hour trading volume is sitting at $345.82 million. And then there's a high volume to market cap ratio, which is 9.89%.
Those are some impressive figures, yeah.
Pretty impressive figures, I think so.
Yeah, I think we're...
So what does this mean for, for someone like me, for the average listener?
Well, I think what's really important to note here is that high trading volume compared to the market cap,
Yeah.
it's a signal. Think of it like
Yeah.
that high volume relative to the market cap. It's kind of a measure of investor enthusiasm.
Gotcha.
It's telling us that there's a lot of activity. There's a
Yeah.
lot of interest surrounding STX right now,
Right.
which is a good sign.
So it's like all that trading activity is pointing to a strong belief in, STX's potential.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's worth noting here that the circulating supply of STX is 1.5 billion,
Okay.
and that represents 100% of the total supply,
Wow.
with a max supply of 1.82 billion. So that means we're not dealing with a situation where, new tokens are constantly being added to the market,
Like what?
potentially diluting the value.
Right. Right.
So this limited supply combined with, that strong demand we're seeing, it could contribute to further price appreciation.
So we've got, positive technical signals, strong market metrics, all seem to be pointing in the direction of potential growth.
Uh-huh.
But there's also some big news in the Stacks ecosystem.
There is.
What's the deal with this partnership with Velar and Stacking DAO?
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. It
Right.
sounds like it could be a game changer.
It definitely could be. This isn't just some, random collaboration.
Yeah.
This partnership has the potential to really shake things up in the STX world. They're launching this brand new stable swap pool for STX
Okay.
and its staked counterpart, STX,
Okay.
which is a big deal, especially for anyone who's interested in staking their STX to earn that passive income.
Okay, so for those of us who are a little bit newer to the DeFi space.
Can you break that down for us a little bit more? What does this partnership actually mean for, like, the average FTX holder?
Right, okay, so first off, let's define what STX even is.
Okay.
When you stake your STX, you essentially lock it up
Right.
for a period of time to help secure the network.
Yeah.
And in return, you get rewarded.
Okay.
STX represents your staked STX.
Gotcha.
And it gives you a way to participate in DeFi even while that original STX is locked up.
Okay.
Now, this new pool allows you to very easily swap between STX and STX with minimal fees and slippage.
Hold on, slippage.
Yeah.
What is slippage?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So slippage happens when you're trading, and the price of an asset changes between the time you place your order and the time that order actually gets executed.
Okay.
So it can eat into your profit.
I see.
So this new pool aims to minimize that slippage, making it easier, more efficient for you to move between STX and STX. And that, in turn, makes staking more attractive, and it increases the overall utility of STX,
Right.
which could lead to even greater adoption.
Got it. So increased usability and adoption.
Exactly.
What else is there?
Well, on top of all that, this partnership is also bringing some pretty serious incentives to the table.
Okay.
So if you provide liquidity to this new pool, you can actually earn dual rewards. So we're talking stacking DAO points
Yes.
and a share of 5,000 VLAR tokens daily.
Wow. So there's an opportunity to make even more money on top of, just the staking rewards.
Exactly. It's like a bonus for supporting the STX ecosystem and helping to boost that liquidity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. The more people who participate,
Yeah.
the deeper that pool of liquidity becomes, which ultimately benefits everyone involved.
Right.
And there's another layer to this.
Okay.
This partnership is a potential game changer for institutional investors as well.
Okay. How so?
So because of that deeper liquidity, it makes it much easier for these large investors to buy and sell larger amounts of STX without causing those big price swings.
Right.
And, that kind of stability,
Yeah.
that can be a big draw for those bigger players.
Totally. Yeah. They don't want to swing the market around too much.
Exactly.
All right. So it sounds like this partnership is really addressing some key concerns for both everyday investors and those big institutions, making STX more accessible and more attractive
Exactly.
to everyone.
Yeah, it's all about inclusivity.
DeFi isn't always smooth sailing, though, right?
That's true.
There are some risks.
Yeah.
What about impermanent loss?
That's a great question. DeFi comes with its own set of risks, and
Yeah.
impermanent loss is definitely one of them.
Can you explain that for us?
Sure, it's a complex topic, but essentially it happens when the value of your staked assets changes
Right.
relative to each other while they're locked up in that liquidity pool.
Right.
So you can end up, losing money compared to if you had just held those assets separately.
Oh, okay. So you could potentially be better off
Yeah.
if you didn't do anything.
Exactly.
So that's a risk.
It is a risk, yeah. But here's where Velar comes in with their innovative approach.
Okay.
They've implemented what's called an upgradable midpoint solution.
Okay.
And without getting too deep into the technical weeds,
Yeah.
it essentially means that they've found a way to minimize that potential for impermanent loss
Okay.
for those who provide liquidity to that pool.
Got
So it makes participating in the DeFi side of stacks
Yeah.
less risky,
Right.
more appealing to a wider range of investors.
Okay, cool.
Including you.
So it's like a safety net
It is.
for your investment.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And this all ties into, the bigger picture of what Stacks is really trying to achieve in the world of Bitcoin DeFi.
So how does all of this relate to Bitcoin?
That's a great question. So Stacks is positioning itself as a leader in what's called Layer 2 Bitcoin DeFi.
Okay.
So think of it like this. Bitcoin is the foundation of the house, right?
Right.
It's solid, it's secure, but you can only build so much directly on top of it.
Right.
Stacks acts like adding another floor to that house,
Okay.
expanding the possibilities without messing with that solid foundation.
Got it.
Yeah.
I like that analogy.
It's a good one.
So Stacks is essentially expanding what Bitcoin can do. But
Exactly.
what does that have to do with DeFi?
Right. So DeFi, or decentralized finance, it's all about creating financial tools and services
Okay.
that are built on blockchain technology, often without the need for those traditional intermediaries like banks.
Right.
So Stacks allows developers to build these DeFi apps that can leverage Bitcoin's massive network and security.
Okay.
It's like opening up this whole new world of possibilities for Bitcoin,
Wow.
including, potentially tapping into its, $2 trillion of dormant capital
Yeah.
for DeFi use cases.
So Stacks is giving Bitcoin kind of like a whole new purpose.
Yeah,
Beyond just being a store of value.
exactly, precisely.
That's cool.
And that's why this partnership with Velar and stacking DAO is so significant,
Okay.
because it's a major step towards making Bitcoin-powered DeFi a reality.
So we've covered the technical analysis, the market metrics, this game-changing partnership.
Yeah.
But how does all of this kind of fit into the historical context of STX?
That's a great question. Let's take a look at the all-time high, where STX hit its eighth of $3.84 back in April 2024.
Okay.
And that's actually about 40% higher than where it's trading right now.
Wow. Okay. So it's come a long way.
It has.
Especially if we're comparing it to, back in March of 2020 when it was at 0.04501.
Oh, yeah, that's the all-time low, the ATL.
Yeah, that's the all-time low. So
Oh.
it's come a long way, but it's also trading significantly below its all-time high.
It is.
Does that mean there's potential for it to regain that, that lost ground?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question, right? But honestly, I think the fact that STX is currently sitting 40% below its ATS while simultaneously flashing all these bullish technical signals
Right.
and those fundamental growth aspects that we've talked about,
Right.
I think it suggests that there's a good chance for it to at least make a run towards those previous highs.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It is.
So what's driving that potential for growth?
Well, we're seeing this expanding DeFi ecosystem coupled with the growing narrative around layer 2 Bitcoin solutions, which, we just talked about.
Right.
So I think those factors combined suggest a potential for long-term growth for STX.
Now, before we move on, let's look into our,
Our crystal ball.
yeah, our crystal ball a little bit.
Okay.
What are some potential future scenarios for STX? What kind of price targets are we looking at?
Well, as with any investment, there are always multiple possibilities, and it's important to consider both the optimistic and the less optimistic scenarios.
Right.
So let's start with that bullish case. If STX manages to break through that key $2.49 resistance level, remember that Fibonacci level
Yeah.
we discussed, the next targets could be $2.70 and then $3.08.
Gotcha.
And, if the momentum really takes hold, we could even see STX taking another shot at its all-time high of $3.84.
Wow, that would be quite a ride.
It would. But of course, there's always that other side of the coin.
Yeah, what if things don't go as well as we're hoping?
Right, we got to consider that bearish case too.
Yeah.
If STX can't hold above that $2.29 support level,
Wow.
we might see it dip down to $1.94
Okay.
and potentially even $1.66, which, aligns with the 38.2% Fibonacci level.
So there's potential for, significant upside, but also, some downside risk as well.
Exactly. It's going to be an exciting ride either way.
It sounds like it. But before we wrap up this part 1 of our deep dive into STX,
Yeah.
what are your main takeaways from everything we've talked about so far?
For me, the key takeaway is this convergence of all these positive factors that we're seeing around STX. Strong technical signals, impressive market metrics that are pointing to real investor interest.
Right.
And then, of course, this groundbreaking partnership that's not only boosting liquidity, but also, fueling that innovation.
Yeah.
And really strengthening Stack's position in the Bitcoin DeFi space.
Yeah, it's a good combo.
It is a good combo.
So I think all of those elements combined really do paint a very compelling picture for STX's potential, for continued growth.
I agree.
But it's important to remember that, as with any investment, you got to do your research
Absolutely.
and make sure you understand the risks before you jump in.
Especially in the world of cryptocurrency. It can be volatile, so always make sure that you're comfortable with that level of risk before making any decisions.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here in part 1 of our SKX deep dive,
We have.
but this is just the beginning.
Just getting started.
So join us in part 2.
Yeah.
Where we're going to delve even deeper into the world of Stacks and its role in the future of Bitcoin DeFi.
Looking forward to it.
See you there. Welcome back to our deep dive into all things Stacks.
Yeah, that's
STX. In part 1, we uncovered some really promising signs for, potential growth for STX,
Right.
fueled by those, bullish technical signals, the
Yeah.
strong market metrics,
Mm-hmm.
and that, really interesting partnership between Valar and stacking DAO.
Game changer.
But as we hinted at, we've only just scratched the surface.
That's right.
There's a whole lot more to uncover when it comes to stacks, especially its unique connection to Bitcoin.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit in part one, but it's worth really digging into how Stacks leverages Bitcoin.
Okay.
Because you see, while so many blockchain projects are out there trying to, build their own separate ecosystems,
Right.
Stacks is taking a different approach.
Yeah.
It's built directly on top of Bitcoin,
Okay.
tapping into that, rock solid security and decentralization.
Right.
So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, Stacks is basically supercharging Bitcoin,
Yeah.
giving it all these new capabilities.
So instead of competing with Bitcoin, they're enhancing it.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like a pretty smart strategy.
I think so. And that's where this whole concept of layer 2 comes in.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit before.
Remember that house analogy?
Yeah, I like that one.
Bitcoin is that strong foundation, but you can only build so much directly on top of it.
Right.
Stacks acts like adding a second story,
Okay.
expanding the possibilities without compromising that base layer.
Right, so it's like giving it more space to work with.
Exactly. It allows Stacks to process those transactions more efficiently
Okay.
and unlock all these new functionalities
Yeah.
without actually having to alter Bitcoin's core protocol.
So they're not messing with the original code.
Not at all.
They're just kind of, building on top of it.
That's right.
Okay, so Stacks is basically giving Bitcoin a performance boost
Uh-huh.
and unlocking these new features.
Yeah, you got it.
What kind of new things can Bitcoin do now with this layer 2 boost from Stacks?
That's the exciting part. One of the, I think, most exciting things is that Stacks lets developers create smart contracts
Right.
that can interact directly with Bitcoin.
Okay.
Smart contracts are basically self-executing agreements written in code,
Yeah.
and they're really the backbone of DeFi.
Right.
So this opens up this whole world of possibilities
Right.
for building DeFi applications that can leverage Bitcoin's massive network and its value.
It's a lot of value.
Trillions of dollars
Yeah.
in Bitcoin capital could potentially be put to work in DeFi.
Wow.
That's game-changing, not just for Stacks,
Right.
but for the entire crypto space.
So we're not just talking about some far-off future possibility here.
No,
This is actually happening right now.
this Bitcoin-powered DeFi is happening right now.
Wow, that's amazing.
We're seeing these innovative DeFi applications being built on Stacks, offering new ways to lend, borrow, and trade crypto assets,
Okay.
all while benefiting from Bitcoin's security and immutability.
So it's like the best of both worlds.
It really is. It's an exciting time to be watching this space.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It sounds like it. So let's kind of recap for a second here.
Okay.
We've got, STX showing these bullish technical signals, those
Wow.
strong market metrics,
Hmm.
the really interesting partnership driving liquidity and innovation.
Yeah.
And now this whole layer 2 narrative positioning Stacks at the forefront of Bitcoin DeFi.
It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. There's a lot of positive momentum.
There is. And, it's important to remember that this isn't just hype.
Yeah.
Stacks is building something truly unique here,
Right.
backed by real technological advancements
Mm-hmm.
and a growing community
Yeah.
of passionate developers and users.
So it's not just, a bunch of hype. There's actual stuff happening.
Real tangible progress.
Real tangible progress. That's important.
It is.
Every investment has risks.
That's true.
What are some potential, challenges or roadblocks that Stacks might face down the line?
Right. That's a really fair question. I think one potential challenge is the regulatory landscape surrounding cryptocurrencies.
Okay, yeah, that's always kind of, up in the air a little bit.
It's a bit of a wild west out there.
Yeah,
We're seeing increasing scrutiny from regulators globally,
right.
and that uncertainty could impact the growth of any crypto project,
Right.
Stacks included.
Yeah.
So I think clarity
Yeah,
and a supportive regulatory environment
right.
are going to be really crucial
Yeah,
for long-term success.
makes sense. What about competition?
Oh, yeah, good point.
There's a lot of other layer 2 solutions out there.
There are a lot.
How does Stacks kind of stack up against the competition?
Right. So the layer 2 space is definitely getting crowded,
Yeah,
but I think Stacks has some key advantages here.
okay.
First and foremost, that laser focus on Bitcoin really sets it apart
Okay.
by building on top of the most established and secure blockchain.
Yeah.
Stacks inherits a level of trust and credibility. that a lot of other layer 2 solutions just don't have.
It's like building on a foundation of gold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what else?
The strength of the developer community, I think, is another key differentiator.
Okay.
Stacks has fostered this really vibrant,
Yeah.
growing community of developers
Okay.
who are really passionate about building this future of Bitcoin DeFi.
Yeah.
And that kind of enthusiastic support is, I think, invaluable.
It's great to have people who are excited to be working on something.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like even with those potential challenges and competition, Stacks is in a pretty strong position to navigate those obstacles
I think so.
and continue to grow.
I agree.
But what does this mean for someone like me or, anyone listening who might be considering investing in STX?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of positive aspects of Stacks,
We have.
but it's absolutely crucial for everyone to do their own thorough research
Right.
and carefully consider their own risk tolerance.
Before making any investment decisions,
Yeah.
investing in cryptocurrency can be volatile.
Yeah, it is.
And there are inherent risks involved.
Right.
So just something to keep in mind.
Never invest more than you can afford to lose.
Words to live by.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this part 2 of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture.
All right. I like it.
What are the potential implications of Stacks' success, not just for the crypto world,
Right.
but for the future of finance as a whole?
You're hitting on a really important point here.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about another altcoin.
Right.
This is potentially transformative.
Wow.
If Stacks truly succeeds in this mission to bring Bitcoin to DeFi,
Yeah.
it could fundamentally change how we think about finance.
Wow.
Imagine a world where financial services are accessible to anyone with an internet connection,
Right.
regardless of location or background.
Yeah.
Transactions are transparent,
Uh-huh.
secure, and controlled by individuals, not centralized institutions.
Wow. That's a pretty powerful vision.
It is. It's a powerful vision.
But are we really on the verge of such a major shift?
It's hard to say for sure,
Yeah.
but the speed of innovation in the blockchain space,
Yeah,
it's mind-blowing.
it is. Things are changing so quickly.
Cool.
It's hard to keep up sometimes.
I know, it really is.
But, projects like Stacks are really pushing those boundaries
They are.
of what's possible.
Uh,
And it's not inconceivable that we could see a major shift in that financial landscape in the coming years.
I agree. It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
That's exciting and a bit daunting at the same time.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Even if that grand vision doesn't fully materialize,
Yeah.
Stacks is still a project worth watching, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
That potential to unlock Bitcoin's power
Yeah.
for this whole new generation of financial applications, that's huge.
It's massive. It's massive.
And so before we move on to part 3, I'm going to leave our listeners with a little bit of a thought-provoking question to ponder.
All right. I like it.
As Stacks grows and evolves,
Mm-hmm.
how do you think it will impact the relationship between Bitcoin and the broader DeFi ecosystem?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Will we see a merging of these two worlds?
Right.
Or will they remain as kind of distinct, separate entities?
That's the question.
That's the question.
Yeah.
Join us for part 3,
All right.
where we're going to explore those questions and wrap up our deep dive into Stacks.
Hmm.
And welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of Stacks,
STX.
STX.
Yeah. Got it.
Over the past 2 parts, we've really gotten to dive deep into the technical analysis.
Right.
We've explored some of those, compelling market metrics.
Uh-huh.
We unpacked some of those groundbreaking partnerships.
Yeah.
And we even talked about how this whole layer 2 solution is really bridging the gap between Bitcoin and DeFi.
It's been quite the journey.
It has been a wild ride. It really has.
Yeah, lots to cover.
But remember that question we left you with at the end of part 2.
Ooh, yeah.
How will Stacks shape the relationship between Bitcoin and the broader DeFi ecosystem?
Right.
Will these two powerful forces merge, or will they remain, kind of separate entities?
The big question.
The big question, and that's what we're going to be exploring in this episode.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So as we've discussed, Stacks isn't just another altcoin trying to carve out its own little niche in the crypto world.
Right.
It's strategically positioned, to harness the power and the security of Bitcoin.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating to me is that Bitcoin, despite its, dominance
Yeah.
and sheer size, it's traditionally been viewed as this store of value.
Right, digital gold.
Right, like digital gold,
Yeah.
rather than a platform for, active financial applications.
Right, and Stacks is challenging that perception.
Meantime, it's really enabling the creation of these Bitcoin-backed DeFi applications
Yeah.
that can compete head-to-head with those built on other blockchains.
It's like breathing new life into Bitcoin,
Yeah, I like that.
bringing it into this whole new world
Bringing it into the future.
of decentralized finance.
It is the future.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I think so.
So instead of, Bitcoin kind of being relegated to the sidelines as this passive asset,
Right.
Stacks is giving it a whole new set of tools and possibilities.
Totally. It's allowing Bitcoin to, really flex its muscles
Yeah.
in the DeFi arena.
It's giving it some utility.
Exactly.
Very cool. And this could have some, serious implications
It could.
for the entire crypto landscape.
For sure.
If Stacks manages to attract a significant portion of that DeFi activity
Right.
to Bitcoin, it could trigger a real shift
Big time.
in the balance of power within the crypto ecosystem.
Seismic shift.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Absolutely.
I mean, imagine a world where Bitcoin, with its massive market cap, with its network, with its reputation,
Right.
becomes like the dominant force.
The king of DeFi.
In DeFi, that would be crazy.
How would it be a game changer?
It really would. It would solidify Bitcoin's position as, the leader in this space.
For sure.
It would usher in a whole new era
I agree.
of decentralized finance.
Yeah.
One that's built on the security and immutability of Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of thing that, Satoshi probably dreamed of.
Yeah, probably. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Okay.
We've talked about all this amazing potential.
It is exciting.
But what about the challenges?
Right.
What are some of the potential roadblocks that Stacks might face?
So there are always challenges in a space like crypto, Things are moving so fast.
Always changing. Yeah.
Always changing. And I think one of the key challenges for any blockchain platform, including Stacks, is scalability.
Yeah.
As the demand for these Bitcoin-backed DeFi applications grows,
Right.
Stacks is going to need to make sure that its infrastructure can handle that increased transaction volume.
But it needs to be able to keep up.
It needs to be able to keep up.
Yes.
It needs to grow and evolve alongside this rapidly growing ecosystem.
So making sure the foundation is strong enough
Exactly.
to support, a taller building.
I like that analogy.
So are they aware of this challenge? Are they doing anything to address it?
Absolutely. The developers behind Stacks, they're very aware of the importance of scalability,
Okay.
and they're constantly working to improve the performance of the platform.
Okay.
Exploring new technologies, new approaches to enhance that scalability
Right.
and ensure that it can handle, the demands of a growing user base and a more complex DeFi ecosystem.
So they're actively working to future-proof the platform.
They are.
That's good.
It's a good sign.
But what about user adoption?
Right.
For Stacks to really succeed, you need a large and active user base.
You need people using it.
Right. It can't just be for developers and, the techie people.
The crypto nerds like us.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be, simple enough that my mom could use it.
Right, exactly.
So how do they address that?
Well, you're absolutely right. User adoption is key.
Mm-hmm.
And to achieve that widespread adoption,
Yeah.
I think Stacks really needs to focus on building user-friendly applications,
Okay.
creating a vibrant and welcoming community,
Right.
and educating people about the benefits of, this Bitcoin-backed DeFi.
It's about making this technology, approachable.
Approachable, accessible to everyone, regardless of their technical expertise.
Right. You don't need a computer science degree
No, not at all.
to use this stuff.
Exactly.
So it's like building a bridge between this complex world
It is.
of blockchain technology
Yeah.
and the everyday needs of, the average person.
You said it. The more accessible and intuitive these DeFi applications are, the more likely people are to embrace them.
Right.
Stacks needs to create that seamless and engaging experience for users,
Right.
making it easy for them to participate in this, exciting new world of finance.
So we've talked about, Stacks' potential to bridge this gap between Bitcoin and DeFi,
Yeah,
unlock a whole new set of possibilities.
absolutely.
But what does this actually mean for, someone who might be considering adding STX
To their portfolio.
to their portfolio? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What advice would you give them?
Well, as we've discussed, STX is showing a lot of promising signs.
Yeah, it is.
Strong technical momentum, those impressive market metrics, and this compelling narrative that really positions it at the forefront of this potentially transformative trend in the crypto space.
A good story.
It's a really good story. But I think it's important to remember that investing in crypto always comes with risks.
Always.
The market can be volatile, and the future of any project, no matter
Yeah.
how promising, is
Right.
never guaranteed.
Never a sure thing.
It's a high-risk, high-reward space.
So it's essential for anyone who is considering investing in FTX to do their research,
Absolutely.
understand the risks,
Hmm.
and only invest what they can afford to lose.
You got it.
Don't put your rent money in.
Please don't.
No.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Due diligence and risk management are essential,
For sure.
especially in the crypto world.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive,
We have.
exploring this world of stacks, its potential to really revolutionize DeFi,
It's exciting.
and what that means for the future of Bitcoin. It's been a fascinating journey.
It really has.
And as we wrap up this exploration, we really encourage you, keep learning, stay informed
Yeah, keep up with it.
about what's happening. The world of cryptocurrency is always evolving.
Always changing.
Maybe even do some of your own research on stacks.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
The future of finance is being shaped right now as we speak.
That's right.
And stacks is playing, a very pivotal role.
A leading role.
Yeah, a leading role in this whole transformation.
It is.
It's exciting.
I think so.
It's a really exciting time to be, following this space.
I agree.
Whether you're, a seasoned crypto investor or you're just starting out, Stacks offers a really compelling case for exploration.
It does.
It's a project with ambition, with innovation, and it has the potential, to reshape the financial landscape.
As we know it.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into stacks. We hope you found it informative
Enjoyed it.
and engaging. We're always here to help you navigate this crazy world
It is a crazy world.
of crypto. And
Yeah.
we'll see you on the next one.